This is Elektron, and I'm going to show you how to make some crazy big leads. Alright, so I'm going to play them through, and then I'll get to showing you how to make them. They're actually plucks, but I wanted to call them leads. So let's go. I love that. That's huge. So let's just jump right into it. So there's a couple things I think that make these really really nice and big, and I think that's the one that the plucks really percussive, so they have a nice punch to them. They're coupled with bass. They have a nice where is it at? A nice layer right here. That helps so much. And then, of course, sorry about that. Of course, the big reverbs and delays behind it. So, right here, we're gonna first learn how to make this. Another layer. That one's pure square, it sounds like, and then this one is sounds like a half pulse. And then of course we're gonna do the white noise transient. So let's go open up a new software instrument. Let's use Alchemy. Nah, let's not use Alchemy. But you can actually do this with Alchemy. I'm just gonna use Sylenth one. So the melody, as you could hear, is quite simple. There's not much going on at all. It's 6 different notes, and that is it. They look like this. Just like that. Turn the volume down a little bit. Okay, so let's start constructing our pluck. How to make a pluck is really simple. We're gonna add, I like to overstuff my voices. You guys tell me I use too many voices sometimes, but I like using a lot of voices. It makes a really thick sound. So now we have this. Let's detune and get a quite different sound. So let's go into a half pulse. A full pulse will be the second layer. So now we're sounding like that. Let's go add a low pass filter. Now we get something like that, and we're gonna turn this off. So now we got nothing besides really, really ultra low end artifacts. So let's let the transient breathe a little. Not the beginning transient, I'm actually gonna keep that, but this one, let's add that. And we're gonna modulate this envelope to turn this knob for us. That's all this modulation envelope does, is it turns whichever knob you want it to turn. Bang. Awesome stuff. I don't know if I had a second octave here, but let's add a second octave anyway because that's what kind of day it is. Let's turn this up or down. I just want the hint of it there. Feel me? So let's go ahead, turn off the extra buses. So as for audio effects, I like to add my reverbs and delays first. And we need a big reverb. I don't like to make my reverbs in Space Designer. I like to use the presets. I think the presets are perfect. So let's get a big one that's gonna reach a note that's really far away. Let's do Dream Hall because it sounds dreamy. That's like a little too much. That's huge. That is so big. I love that. The reverb. You guys are gonna give me those those inappropriate comments when I say things like that, like, oh, it's so big, like, whatever. But yeah, it's actually a pretty big sounding reverb. I'm gonna add delay. I like this plugin from Waves for delay. I don't like Logic Pro X's delay. Because here's why. I'll show you why. You can't go that slow. So Logic Pro X is the slowest delay, is 1/4 of speed, but I like the half speed delays, and it just doesn't do it. But it does everything else. Like, why the fuck doesn't it go that slow? I don't like that. This delay, I don't like how it starts off all the way wet. I'd rather all the way dry so you work it up. But I guess this is how it starts. So beautiful. We have to make this this sound a lot bigger, and we're gonna do that with the compressor after the reverb and delay. I was talking to a studio owner once. He said not to do that, but then again, he didn't work with electronic music, so he doesn't. I didn't think he understood like what we go for when we add the compressor after the reverbs and delays. Makes it all around bigger sound. Because what I think it does is it glues the reverb to the pluck rather than having pluck and reverb, you know? But it's weird because I know rock and roll artists who like to add the compressors before the reverb and delay so that the reverb is not compressed. But that's rock and roll. You know, that's guitars. It's not a sound we're trying to make sound massive. Alright, let's go. Let's add a super compressor. Super compressors could be OTT, Camel, Crusher. If you like purchasing plugins, Saturn. In its own way is a super compressor, in my opinion. All that I mean by super compressor is one of those compressors that are just like dumb big. You know, so like this one is an upward and downward compressor. Instead of bringing peaks just down, it brings peaks down and valleys up. So that's crazy big. All right, but we could get bigger. That's what's crazy about this. So let's go bigger, and we're gonna add another layer. I don't like another layer. We don't even need another layer. But what I like to do with this one is add 2 pulse waves and retune it. It's so awesome. You can do so much stuff with this. Let me tell you, the next part is to EQ out the lows, and we're gonna couple this with some pulsing bass. Anytime you get a big lead coupled with pure sub bass underneath, forget it. So let's go EQ. So we're gonna cut out the low end. Doesn't make sense, I know. How are we gonna have a big lead without any sub bass? Like I just said to put sub bass in. Leave the sub bass in. Now we're gonna make our own sub bass. We're gonna make it separate. Let's go ahead. Let's use Serum for this. I just feel like Serum was built to be a bass synth. Don't quote me on that. I really like using Serum as a sub bass synth. It's loud. And on the exact pattern of what we have here, we're gonna, let's go to, let's turn this down. And I'm gonna build this into a pluck the same way we built it into a pluck on Sylenth. Let's filter, and we're gonna use this envelope 2 to modulate this knob. So now we got some pure sub bass here. Let's go down a little bit here. A little word of advice: if you have trouble hearing what sub bass note it is, because sometimes it's hard to hear what note you're hitting if it's too low, or at least I have that issue. Bring it up some octaves and it's easier to hear the note. Okay, let's go and add the last part, which is that punchy transient. To make these punchier, I'm actually not going to do that. I'm going to add that. And I'm going to go here, and this is the same for any synth. You just want to generate a noise lead, or just a noise oscillator. Talk about a huge sound. So I like to, my new thing with transients is I actually like to spread them a little because it kind of diffuses them. It makes the transient a little less hard. Weird, I know, but it's just like a different sound. Nice. So we can bring this in. Whoops, I just played everything again, I apologize. So now, the transient, getting that level right is important. Dang, that's a huge lead. That's so big. There you go, guys. My name's Elektron. If you took anything of value from this video, go ahead, leave a thumbs up, leave a comment, and subscribe to me. It'll really help me out. And stay tuned for more awesome stuff.